Hi, so in this video we'll be discussing about counter current exchanger and how to approach this question. So this question was asked as an answer briefly question of 3 marks before, but what is more important is whenever you get a question like what is a mechanism of concentration of urine or what is counter current mechanism, you have to write both about counter current multiplier and about counter current exchanger. So this particular video will be useful for both answer briefly as well as your essay questions. So in the introduction, we can write about the role of counter current exchanger. So the hyperosmolarity of the medullary interstitium, which is established by the counter current multiplication and urea recycling, is maintained by counter current exchange in the vasa recta. So what does this all mean? See, suppose this is a kidney, the cortex of the kidney, and suppose this is the medulla of our kidney. We know that there are two types of nephrons, which are the cortical nephrons as well as the juxtamedullary nephrons. And we know that the loop of Henle of the juxtamedullary nephrons dip into the medulla, and these are responsible for the counter current multiplication. Now suppose the blood supply of the renal medulla was such that if it washes off all these interstitial osmolarity that was gained, suppose it was like this, it would just wash off all the osmolarity that was maintained by the counter current multiplier. So that is why we've got a very intelligent system of blood supply of the medullary interstitium which actually maintains this hyperosmolarity, and this is by these long U-shaped peritubular capillaries. Now these vessels are called vasa recta. So vasa recta helps in maintaining the osmolarity which was established by the counter current multiplier system. So that is what we are mentioning here, that is the hyperosmolarity of the medullary interstitium which is established by the counter current multiplication and urea recycling is maintained by counter current exchange in the vasa recta. So after that basic introduction, we can write about what vasa recta is. So the renal medullary blood supply is by the vasa recta, and the special features of vasa recta are, first of all, it's got very sluggish blood flow and it is U-shaped, so it decreases the dissipation of the solute gradient. So this is the vasa recta and this is the loop of Henle. We can see that there are two parallel tubes in which the fluid is moving in two opposite directions. And the special features of vasa recta are, it's got a very sluggish blood flow, and because of the typical U shape, it decreases the dissipation of the solute gradient. Now we'll write about the mechanism of counter current exchange. So in vasa recta, the blood flows in the opposite direction in the descending and the ascending vessels, and water and solutes are exchanged passively between the capillary and the blood vessels. This passive exchange in vasa recta maintains the osmotic gradient. So we can just explain it with the mechanism works. So here you can see that this is the loop of Henle, this is the thin descending loop of Henle in which the fluid is moving in the downward direction, and this is the thick ascending loop of Henle. So what about in vasa recta? In vasa recta, this is the descending vasa recta. So here you can see that these are basically two parallel tubes in which the blood is moving in the opposite direction. So this is the descending vasa recta, and here you have the movement of the blood in the upward direction. So this is the ascending vasa recta. Now we know that in the thin descending loop of Henle, which it is freely permeable to water, right? So all this water which was pushed into the interstitium, which flowed into the interstitium, will now enter these ascending vasa recta. So the solutes will actually be pumped out of this descending vasa recta. Okay. And the thick ascending limb, we said that it is impermeable to water but permeable to solutes. So the solutes are reabsorbed at the descending loop of Henle. So these solutes which were reabsorbed into the interstitium will gain entry into these descending vasa recta. So what will happen to the osmolarity of the descending vasa recta? You see there are solutes are coming in and water is going out of the vasa recta. So what will happen to its osmolarity? This descending vasa recta will become more and more hyperosmolar. And what about the ascending vasa recta? Here you can see that there is entry of water. So here the ascending vasa recta will be more and more hyperosmolar. So actually, even though there is diffusion of solute as well as water, because of its peculiar U-shaped, the solutes and the water are actually present inside the interstitium itself. There is not much exchange that is taking place. So you can write that points also here, that is the descending limb of vasa recta becomes more and more hyperosmotic because of the diffusion of water out of the blood and diffusion of solutes from the renal interstitial fluid into the blood. And the ascending limb of vasa recta, the solutes diffuse back into the interstitial fluid and water diffuses back into the vasa recta. And then maybe you can draw this diagram. This diagram is from Ganong. The previous diagram which I showed is also good, but since Ganong is a more standard textbook, I think it will be better that you draw this diagram, in which here you can see that this is the osmolarity of the vasa recta. So this is the descending vasa recta and this is the ascending vasa recta as the arrows are showing. So here you can see that the osmolarity in the descending vasa recta is increasing as it goes down, whereas in the osmolarity of the ascending vasa recta is decreasing as it is going up. And here you can see that in the descending vasa recta, the water is moving out and the solutes are moving into the vasa recta. Whereas in the ascending vasa recta, here you can see that water is moving in and solutes are moving out. And here you can show the different parts of the kidney like the cortex and the medulla. So I think you can also maybe write some additional scoring points like the applied aspects. So what will happen if the medullary blood flow is increased? If the medullary blood flow is increased, it will actually decrease the urine concentrating ability. Okay, it reduces the urine concentrating ability. So such situations occur when the patient is taking some vasodilators. So when there is vasodilatation as well as when there is increased arterial pressure, there will be more movement of blood. So what will happen? Because of that increased flow, the solutes, there's a tendency for the solutes to just wash off. So that is the importance of the sluggish blood flow of the vasa recta. So these are a few additional scoring points. So I think that's about countercurrent exchange. It's a short topic. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you.